Alright, going live. Let's do this.
All right.
Alright. Okay, are we live? Can people ping me in the chat? This is my first time doing this, so just expect there to be technical issues. DC here is a pro, so he's just going to take the reins.
I don't know about pro, but sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think we're live on mine as well, so hopefully that's working. If anyone on my live stream as well wants to let me know if it's working or not. I'm not too sure if the chat thingy is working, but this is a new overlay for just for this. I just set this one up this afternoon, so let me know if it's working. If it's not, sorry. I'm not going to change it.
Great. Awesome. So let's get started. I'm imagining people that this is working, so we'll just go from here. So thanks for everybody who is joining live. As I mentioned, this is the first time doing this. And DC and I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of what's happening in the Aussie job market post-COVID. Too long didn't read. It's exploding. And while we are focusing on Australia, chances are just general tech, the way tech is moving through the industry, these sort of patterns are expected to be global. There is a massive skill shortage in a lot of areas. So yeah, that's all stuff that we're going to go into. But before we get started, DC, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is DC, on YouTube anyway. My real name is David Lee. I've worked in cybersecurity for around 6.5 years now, and IT in general for roughly a while, almost 15 years, I think.
Oh, really starting to show your age.
I'm much older than I look. Yeah, living the dream. It's good. It's good to see so many new people getting into the industry at the moment and seeing things exploding, which is good. That's what this chat is all about. I myself have seen a fair bit of growth recently, especially in the cloud side of things, and obviously in security itself as well. But the whole industry is pretty much blowing up at the moment, which is kind of cool.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Back to you, man.
Yeah, well, I am certainly not as seasoned as you are in the field, but yeah, 8 years general IT experience, going on 4 in security. So yeah, so basically the topics that we're going to cover today, I've broken it down into 4 topics more or less. So we're going to talk about just do a bit of recap and see what happened when COVID hit Australia and how that affected everything. Then we kind of rapidly went to this huge remote work phase. Now we're kind of in this sort of post-COVID / Delta phase, and then we want to have a look at future trends. So Dave, how was it like up at Brizzy when COVID hit? I think we went into lockdown first down here, right?
I think so, yeah. So the day-to-day essentially stopped. People started freaking out a little bit. I was actually out of contract when
Right.
COVID hit, so I was a little bit worried that contracts would dry up or that things would essentially just sort of come to a halt. I didn't really know where things were going to go, so it was a little bit interesting to see how the industry sort of played out there. But the initial thought for me was, it's all good. I had a contract just before this, and I had enough money saved. So financially, I was okay, but I was a little bit worried for the industry, but also a little bit excited because I think it was probably around 1 week or 2 weeks in where I started noticing a huge amount of jobs coming up specifically for help desk.
Right, yeah.
I wasn't particularly interested in the help desk roles myself, but it was good to see some growth in a not so certain field.
Yeah.
So to be able to see, all of these help desk roles come up essentially to help people with transitioning from working at home to from working in the office to working at home.
Yeah.
That was, for me, that was exciting because it meant that further growth would happen from there later down the line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know for us, like, what I saw was like so many non-essential projects just get canned. So this was across government and private sector. Just anything that was not essential, anything that wasn't core operations, or anything like site resilience, just put on hold straight away. But then it was interesting when we kind of, we got over that speed hump, and then it started, we got settled. It feels like we got settled into this whole remote working thing super quick. Like, all those people working in those supporting roles to transition that, they absolutely were some of the best heroes in this sort of field to enable
Absolutely.
all of us to, transition so fast and so easy. I really didn't see many organizations struggle with that. But yeah, as you mentioned, like there was certainly like all these rises in the system admin and help desk roles, which really exploded at the time. And I was thinking like, well, if my current job, falls out because they might see security as non-essential, at least, I could go do help desk for a bit. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and I had an extremely busy 2020. But yeah. So now it's kind of looking interesting, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah, things have sort of grown and changed and morphed, maybe is a word I would use there, where, the industry has completely changed from what it was to what is the main focus now. I see things getting a little bit more streamlined now, which is good because I think that initial rocky period is sort of over and done with. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, for me, I don't know what it's like for you, but for anybody who is a pen tester or has cybersecurity on their LinkedIn, we're getting recruiters on a daily basis, right? They're pinging us on LinkedIn, always saying, they've got these exciting job opportunities and everything like that. And for the most part, yeah, many of them are. But there still is a lot of hesitancy I see with people who actually want to, take that risk and join a new company, or even like yourself, go contracting. So
Sure.
yeah, it's definitely something that I've noticed. But I mean, yeah, having so many recruiters chip away at you week after week, month after month, inevitably you're going to fall for one. And that's basically what I did. Got a massive pay bump, and starting a new job at a company I actually used to work for. So it's interesting. Like there's just, and like I'm trying to fill a role at my current organization as well, trying to help fill a role. And there's just nobody out there who has the right amount of cybersecurity experience to fill that role. Because I mean, while we don't want to be gatekeeping, there does need to be certain skills that you have and certain experience that you need to have to actually be able to fit into this role and, hit the ground running. Sure, everybody needs a bit of training, but when you need somebody talented right now, then it's difficult.
That's true. Yeah, and on that point as well, I found that previously the job market was sort of like a transition field where I've seen mostly people who were network security engineers or network engineers or sysadmins getting certified and getting into, or sometimes not even getting certified, just getting straight into cybersecurity roles from there.
Yeah.
And then getting into the industry, whereas things have changed a little bit with more university, I guess, focus on training people to get into cybersecurity. So now there are a lot of people who have come straight out of university getting into various roles, depending on if they have a certification or some experience at least, or at the minimum show a lot of passion for the industry to move in. So I have seen a lot of that happening as well, instead of the more traditional sense of if you are a sysadmin or network engineer or both, then yeah, and I don't mean to put that into like a programming like bully, it kind of is a little bit like that, I think.
Yeah, and To go off on a little bit of a tangent, what's your perception of these cybersecurity degrees? Like, again, it's not like you want to be exactly gatekeeping people from getting into it, but for people like you and me, we've all gone from being an IT practitioner of some sort and then taking that step into cybersecurity. Whereas, as you know, you need to leverage a lot of existing skills and experience. What's your perception on people going from uni straight to infosec roles?
It depends what they did in uni. If they were doing, like you said, cybersecurity or computer science degrees, then yeah, I think they have the majority of the skills in place already, or at least the base knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that university is useless or that university is the absolute thing that you need to do, because everyone's situation is different. But I found that most of the people who have gone to university and have done a cybersecurity degree have more chances, I would say, for employability for whatever reason. I don't want to get too deep into that.
Separate discussion. Yeah,
I'll be going for hours and hours on that one.
Sounds like we've got our next live stream topic set up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's so interesting to see, like, because I've been reading. You've heard of Hayes Recruitment, right? Yeah. So going through their salary guide for 21, like their little blurb they have at the start, and they sort of go over all the in-demand skills. Like, you can expect to see cybersecurity there, but what I didn't expect was things like cloud engineers, DevOps engineers, reliability engineers, data scientists. I really didn't expect full stack development, and of course cybersecurity, which was always on an upward trajectory, but then with this whole remote working has just exploded. Like, there is more roles than there are people to fill them.
For sure. But saying that as well, there are a lot of gatekeepers, lack of a better word, in recruiting or hiring positions, who don't want to veer out of the traditional sense of employment and maybe take a risk on someone who potentially does have the passion or personal experience to get the job done. So there is that as well. So it's a bit rocky, I find. And this is something that comes up a lot in the coaching / guidance sessions that I do, where people are saying that they're not having too much luck with applying for jobs, and sometimes it's something as simple as rewording a resume to really target that job and get a cover letter in place that really hammers down the point of what you're good at and why they should employ you.
I think it's always like, you do a little bit of research about the company and say, articulate in your CV and cover letter what you actually want to achieve at that company, and then that just goes miles.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess one of the most interesting topics people think about when it comes to cybersecurity is salaries. Now, what's your experience now? Not asking for your salary, but like, what, as a beginner getting into the field, what do you think they should expect?
I think people fresh into the field, it kind of depends, but I would say the minimum is around 60,000. The absolute minimum.
Yep.
The average,
so sort of
being
fresh grad
80,
salary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The average being 80 to 100, and the experienced, and by experience I mean like 2+ years experience, the 100+ section. That's what I've seen, and that's not just IT though. That's like not just CyberSec rather. That's also IT, like your cloud. That's across the whole field. I think if you have a look at some of these salary guides, like the Hayes one or the
Evolution.
That one as well. That would pretty much say exactly what I've just said. And it's true. I mean, that's the average salary, and it does also, it depends by city, experience.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
Sometimes who you know,
yeah, that too.
what sort of certifications you have. There's a lot of different contributing factors that are important to think about as well. So it's hard to say like it's going to be this much, but I think if you gauge somewhere between 60 and 100,000,
Mm-hmm.
and that's, I know it's a massive jump,
Yeah.
but it's somewhere in between there.
Yeah. It definitely seems like from the recruiters, so for experienced hires, what I'm seeing from recruiters is they're definitely offering a lot more than what they did, say, 12, 18 months ago. Like 12, 18 months ago when I got these offers, I never really would have considered moving because the extra money just isn't really worth it. I've got a good work-life balance. I don't want to have to rebuild relationships from the ground up. But, everybody's got their price. And when, something comes along, and I know a lot of organizations are struggling to retain talent because they can't afford to match what other organizations are offering. Have you seen that a lot?
I have, yeah, and it not so much in my contracting space, and I think most of the recruiters, or the bigger recruiters out there, they now know that I do contracting because I've been doing it for a little while. So
Yeah.
they'll just see it on my LinkedIn that
Right.
I do contracting.
So how's your experience contracting compared to working for a consultancy?
I found working at a consultancy for me personally is a little bit too structured, and for some people that is what they want. But for someone like me, someone described me the other day actually as someone who thrives in chaos, and I was mildly insulted at the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh really? It doesn't sound too good. But I thought about it and I was like, they're actually kind of right. Maybe I do thrive in chaos. I do like going to a new contract and really having to prove myself.
Yeah. Thriving under
Coming
pressure.
out the hero of the moment type.
Yep.
thing. I do actually quite enjoy that. So I don't know if that says much about my personality, but
Yeah, right.
I do really enjoy that sort of stuff. So for me, having less structure and in most cases more money for contracting, because you don't get all
the
those
benefits,
different leaves
Yep.
and the benefits. You essentially just get paid
for the day.
That's it. If
Yep.
you don't turn up to work, you don't get paid.
Yeah. Do you have to pay all your own super and do your own tax and all that stuff as well?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they pay my business, and then my business pays me.
Oh, okay.
Because I have insurance through my own business, and
Yep.
I do other stuff through that business as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to just have everything go into there, have insurances, and the financial side of things like accounting.
And all the
all done
offshore
through
bank
there,
accounts
and
in
then I
the...
just-
You have all
and then the leftovers is just for me. So
and you're
it's good.
I imagine you're routing a good portion of that to like offshore bank accounts in the Cayman Islands and things like that, right?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you're...
You don't sound convinced. You're like, yeah, sure.
Well,
dear.
I know of somebody who actually does that, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay.
And they work in tech, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like, so you mainly go in to do more SOC type work, right? You're you're OSCP holder, aren't you?
Yeah.
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 But you don't focus too much on pen testing nowadays?
I do a little bit. My current contract is actually listed as it expired. I'm actually out of contract.
Oh,
They
right.
keeping me in there.
Cool.
For some reason. So they I was in there for a 12-month contract. It's been almost 2 years now. So the initial contract was for a network and systems cloud pen tester. So there was a lot of API hacking on various cloud platforms, as well as networking stuff. So switches, firewalls, etc.
Yeah.
And a little bit of systems, only because those systems were on those cloud environments.
Did they have printers connected to them?
Yes, yes, they did.
GG.
So Good times. So yeah, they that sort of finished up, and then the job has now sort of moved more towards what I would describe. My title hasn't changed in that role, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just a contractor at the end of the day, so I don't really matter to that company too much.
Yeah.
Apart from making them money.
Are you in government or private?
Private.
Okay, right.
But it's private to mostly government, so it's
sort of like the whole Australia Post sort of structure, NBN structure.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So there is like some larger enterprise, I guess, clients like banks or mining type things, which are interesting. And those are still pen test positions that I do for them, but the majority of the work that I'm doing now is more DevSecOps type stuff. So building automations for various systems.
Yeah, right.
Essentially.
Yeah, interesting.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Where do
different.
Where do you see, so kind of moving on to topic 4 now, like future trends and everything, where do you see your sort of work sort of evolving to?
I see automation space getting bigger. I see cloud and API hacking becoming bigger than it already is.
Yep.
I think a lot less people will be requesting pen tests of web apps because it's a flooded industry.
That's actually one of the reasons why I changed jobs. I was just doing web app pen testing all the time, and I was just getting a bit bored.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, there's only so many WordPress scans you can run until
you
go insane. So,
I
mean, WordPress is good fun to play with, but yeah. Anyway, so I that's sort of where I see it. So cloud, API, and the automation side of things. So I guess that's kind of API as well, but the DevSecOps space I see getting bigger as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it definitely seems like it's not just cybersecurity that's sort of on the upward trend with a huge amount of roles and little supply. It kind of looks at your full stack developers, your DevOps practitioners, all that kind of stuff. It kind of seems like we're about to, go on like this steep curve of rapid development. The way that the industry is just kind of positioning itself at the moment. And it's great to see because, I mean, salaries and rates are going up. I would say now is probably one of the best times ever to get into tech, let alone cybersecurity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but sadly, I mean, I think one of the reasons why our salaries and rates are going up is because of the lack of people being able to come to Australia to work, the lack of imported talent, and due to our very slow vaccine rollout, which is definitely going to be interesting over the next 6 months.
Have been handled better, but let's not.
I hope Anna's treating you well up there. Oh, sorry, Anastasia. Yeah.
Well, we just came out of lockdown tonight.
Oh, really?
1 hour ago.
Oh, right. Well, we're in it for another week. At the least.
The cases are at like 207 or something from that Bondi cluster.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I'm not far from there. So, it's locked up tight here. Yeah. So, but I mean, remote working is just one of the perks that we have nowadays, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. It's a perk for sure. And even during lockdown periods, that's actually a good topic to talk about because it's something I get asked about a lot.
Yeah.
If there are 100% remote opportunities, and the answer is yes, but it depends on where you are. So for the majority of jobs I've seen in Brisbane, in tech in general, they're not 100% remote. They're more remote as a benefit type position.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a Brisbane or Queensland thing. I feel like it might be.
Possibly.
But,
I've had some recruiters...
People seem to just not want you to leave.
Yes.
I mean, I go to various different clients throughout the week to do either internal pen tests or to have meetings and build automations. And yes, it would be much easier for me to do them over a video call, but they really like that or they prefer that in-person experience for whatever reason it is. That's up to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't really care about lockdowns here. To be honest, they're just sort of like come into the office and let's have a chat.
Right. Oh, the attitude here doesn't. It does seem like the whole return to work attitude is growing, but it's certainly like some of the recruiters who have contacted me. They're like, yeah, we're happy to have flexibility, but the expectation is still to be in the office. And any of those roles, I've just told the recruiter flat out, I'm not interested. I don't care how much you're paying. But the ones which are just like, would like you to come to the office every now and then, check in with the team and, do all this stuff, work together. But also, we want you to be comfortable and work from home and, have flexible working hours. They're the types of jobs that I think most of us are desiring. Because,
but you are privileged with experience, so you do get to make that choice.
Yeah,
Whereas people
absolutely
jumping into the industry, I feel like are not really being offered that choice.
Yeah,
From what I've talked to anyway,
Yeah. Well, yeah, there definitely seems like the people who are just still opposed to the whole idea. I'm more than happy to go in if there is a reason to go in. The whole 9 to 5 grind, Sydney public transport is a nightmare. So, I rather not waste an hour, 2 hours of my day and just, work an extra 2 hours. And, it's win-win. I'm more productive. I spend more time on my work. More gets done, and I don't have to, stand in a busy train for half the day. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So, sorry, go.
I was just going to say there's one good question here.
I haven't checked the chat.
On my stream, which said, can you mention major CyberSec areas which will be greatly in demand in the future? That might be a late comment, but we just mentioned that one, I guess. If you missed it, it was essentially, my answer was cloud, APIs and DevSecOps, but pretty much, to be honest, pretty much everything is growing at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend people just pick up the Hey Salary Guide or any of the other big recruiters, and it's full of great information in there.
Yep. Yeah.
Have we got any other questions? Jason, how many pounds have you put on during the COVID period? Oh my God, is it that note? I think it's just a webcam angle. It's the whole double chin. It's just because of the poor lighting in here. I wanted to get the nice blue effect.
That's savage.
Now I'm really self-conscious. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything on my side.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a few. I'll see if there's any questions here. QR codes. I don't know what that's about. Some come into the office but scan a QR code first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's check-in apps everywhere. I don't know really what you want to talk about with that stuff, but yeah, I mean, there's a COVID app thing for each state. The New South Wales one has everything in it. It's a beast of an app. The Queensland one is very basic. You just scan a code and click I'm here, and then it says you're here, and that's it. It doesn't link anything else in there that they've told us about anyway. So yeah. Good question here actually. How much do you guys know about the ASD? Is it easy to get into?
Wait, the Australian Signals Directorate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. I know their cadetships are pretty lucrative, but that's all I know.
Yeah, they did have a huge recruitment drive earlier in this year and late last year. But since then, it's been a little bit dead from them. But they are, like, the last talk I saw them doing was, where was it? It was at B-Sides, Canberra. I wasn't there, but I was watching online, and there was Mike Burgess who was talking. Familiar. And he was talking about that if you are looking for a job in cybersecurity in the government and you think you've got the skills, follow ASIO on Twitter, and you'll see all of the different jobs popping up. Yeah. So he was pretty passionate, and he was a very well spoken dude from what I saw. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely jobs in government. Just keep in mind that these government security roles come with a requirement of a clearance.
And citizenship as well, right?
Sorry?
Citizenship as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. So you have to be a citizen, and you have to have a clearance. So to get a clearance, you need to be a citizen. But yeah, to also get a clearance, you need to be sponsored by either a company or a government agency to obtain that clearance. So it's a little bit hard unless, like, when I got my clearances years ago, they were offering a program, which is essentially how I got into cybersecurity. I was working in a government agency as a network security engineer, and there was this thing going on in Canberra. They said, do you want to come down and hang out with us and join us? I said, sure. The money was actually less. Did someone just send me money? Oh man, why'd you do that? Thank you. But you don't need to. I'll answer that question in a second though. Yeah, so network security engineer, I was, at that time I was earning 95,000, and this job in Canberra was 80,000. So it was a drop in wages, but at the time I saw the potential of cybersecurity, because it was just starting to sort of really blow up at this point. So they said they could pay for a clearance for me, and I didn't really understand what that meant at the time, but it was probably the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now that's why I try and tell people now, if you do get offered a job that's going to pay for your clearance, take it. Please take it, because they're so expensive. It costs that company like up to $30,000 depending on what level of clearance you get.
Wow, I had no idea it was that expensive.
It's so much money.
Yeah.
So it's a bit crazy, but if you do get offered it, absolutely take it, even if it's going to pay you less than what you're currently doing. It's about the progression of your career that you can take after this. That's worth more than, losing that extra bit of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just quickly as well.
Just
before you go, I just want to answer this dude's question who paid me.
Is this Jamie?
Analyst. I can get a job with this certs without degree. MTA security fundamentals. I don't know if that's a question. It's not a question. It's just a random statement.
Okay.
Cheers for the €5. Sorry about that.
No, all good. Got a question from Jamie. And you actually have a video on this, don't you, DC? Is 32 late to get into CyberSec? Short answer, absolutely not. Long answer, go check out Dave's video.
Yeah. Short answer, no. Some places actually prefer it, to be honest. They prefer someone with a little bit of life experience. So, yeah, I mean, 32 is not too old to get into cybersecurity.
I mean, I think I started getting into cybersecurity when I was 30, so yeah, no. All good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, you'll be fine, man.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we might wrap it up there. Have you got any final comments, regards, anything?
No, there's no more questions in the... Well, there's plenty of questions, but I'll answer them another time.
Yep.
But yeah, no more statements. I guess I'd like to mention a few things, if that's okay to do so.
Go for it.
Some shout-outs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sid, because I always use you as an example for someone who's just finished university and got a job like straight after university. So I always use your example.
It's funny because
encourage people. So yeah, thank you for letting me use you.
He is actually working with my ex-girlfriend's sister, and then she asked me the other day, "Oh, do you know Sid?" I'm like, "I don't think so."
What?
This is the guy who appeared in your video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he.
Oh my god.
I think.
Small world.
I better not mention the company for privacy reasons, but yeah, no, he's working with my ex-girlfriend's sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a small world.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Shout out to Sid, legend, super nice guy. If anyone ever meets a Sid in cybersecurity in Australia,
it's probably him.
Give him a high five for me. Shout out to CyberSec Guidance, which is my business at the moment that I'm trying to build up. It's all about cybersecurity coaching and guidance sessions, as well as some courses, but it's more focused on that one-on-one guidance, getting you into the industry type thing. So if you do fancy that sort of information, head on over to cybersecguidance.com and book a session. We'll have a chat.
Sounds like a great service. I mean, it's so overwhelming trying to get into cybersecurity when you make that decision, you Google it, there's so many services. How do I know what I'm paying for? Am I getting value? Are they just scammers? So yeah, no, that's such a great initiative.
So it's so tricky to maneuver through the industry at the moment. So that's essentially, that's what I built all that for. It's just that I don't want to give people like a 10-second half-assed advice. The reason it's a paid service is because it's a full hour, sometimes longer, and I need to get everything out in a perfect plan for your particular situation. So it's very, very customized.
Tailored approach,
and if you follow me on LinkedIn or anywhere, you would have seen me posting some testimonials to say that it is actually a good service. So yeah, do check it out, and
awesome.
That's all for me. Yeah,
great. Well, thank you so much for having this chat with me tonight and taking time out on your busy Saturday night. Really appreciate it.
No worries, man. Yeah, thanks for the chat. It's been good.
Awesome. All right, we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
See you, mate. Bye. See you, everybody in the chat. Like, subscribe, follow DC and all that.
Yeah, same for Jason.
Great. All right, catch you later, mate.
See you, man.